On to today's webinar. It's called From Weight to Wellness. My name is Devin Forbes. I am the program coordinator with Healthy at Hopkins. Along with being the program coordinator, I'm also a registered dietitian as well as a certified specialist in obesity and weight management. So I love this topic. I think we're going to cover a lot of great topics and really help give an overall picture of what wellness is. So to start us off today, I want you to think about maybe it's yourself or if anyone's ever come to you and said, I'm trying to lose weight, or I've tried in the past and I just don't know what to do. Most of us do know someone who's attempted weight loss in the past. And according to data by the Research for Market Data Enterprises, Americans spend over $60 billion annually on weight loss programs and products. This includes everything from paying for gym memberships to joining weight loss programs, including even drinking diet soda. The weight loss industry is huge. So, however, weight is not the only thing that matters for our health and our well-being. Weight is just one factor when it comes to assessing where you stand in terms of overall health. So in today's seminar, we're going to discuss why people want to lose weight, how changes in weight are traditionally measured, why weight is only one factor in the terms of health and well-being, and how to transform your habits from whole person or holistic wellness. At any point in today's seminar, if you notice on your right-hand side, there is a little tab that says questions. Feel free to write in any questions that you have along the way. There are some poll questions as well, so that's where I'll have you be writing or typing in your answers as well. So to start off, why people want to lose weight. There are four main reasons why people want to lose weight. Maybe you can relate to these, or maybe your motivation stems from something else altogether. One being physical health, whether we're looking at disease risk, stress on the joints, or energy levels. About 50% of adults who want to lose weight are looking for that extra energy boost. Another reason could be mental health, whether it's self-esteem or self-confidence. And then appearance to self, body satisfaction and body image, or appearance to others and getting social acceptance for having that smaller body. These are what we find are the main reasons that trigger that thought of wanting to lose weight. But here are some facts on weight. So about 72% of Americans fall into the overweight or obese category. And this is often determined by BMI, or your body mass index, which we'll talk about later on in our session. That's almost every 3 in every 4 Americans fall into that obese or overweight category. Many have taken steps in their journey to improve their health with a weight loss plan, but it takes planning, dedication, and motivation to not just find a realistic plan that works for you, but stick with it long term. Unfortunately, the drive to see fast results has led there to be many different weight loss products and plans that promise weight loss fast. However, they don't actually teach the lifestyle changes needed to maintain that loss and stay healthy. So as many as 2 in 3 adults will regain weight within 5 years of weight loss. Some healthy weight benefits, why it is important to be aware of maintaining a healthy weight. It can definitely help with more energy. Increased energy levels come from, we see, improved sleep, lower blood pressure, and lower blood sugar. Better sleep quality, so not only are you sleeping for longer oftentimes, you're getting a better quality sleep, waking up less frequently in the middle of the night. We often see an improved mood, happier, and increased self-esteem. So accomplishing different health goals really helps boost self-esteem and increase the positivity in the ability to help meet other health goals, keeps you motivated. We're also going to see less joint stress, so it's easier on the knees or easier on our joints. And another great benefit is that we will see a reduced risk of chronic disease. Variety of types. This includes, we'll see improvement in type 2 diabetes, certain cancers such as colon, breast cancer, endometrial, or even gallbladder cancer. We'll see improved heart disease, kidney disease, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, stroke, metabolic syndrome. All of these diseases can benefit from having a healthy weight. So how do you know if weight loss can benefit you? Talk to your doctor before starting any weight loss plan. They know your health status and disease risk best. They'll review your weight along with other factors of physical and mental health. For some people, it may be more realistic to target other areas of wellness to improve health rather than just weight. So weight can be measured simply in pounds by using a scale. However, weight by itself doesn't tell you anything about your health risk. Doctors typically use the next three measures to assess where your weight-related health risk stands. And again, they'll still review these numbers along with other health factors. So let's take a look at some of those other factors. One we talked about earlier, your body mass index. So this is a screening tool to identify the risk of possible weight problems in adults. So it's not for diagnosis. To determine if excess weight is a health risk, your doctor would need to perform further assessments. These assessments might include skin fold thickness measurements, evaluation of diet, physical activity, your family history, and any other appropriate health screenings. Body fat. This estimates how much of our weight is body fat versus lean muscle mass. So muscle, stored water, bone tissue all go into that lean body mass number. So all bodies need a certain amount of fat to function properly, and if you can see it on that chart there. This helps with controlling our body temperature, delivering vitamins to organs, regulating our hormones, and keeping our reproductive system healthy. Exceeding the essential amount of body fat may increase the risk of certain chronic diseases, such as diabetes or high blood pressure. So taking a look at that body fat chart there, that's where you'll see kind of where the recommendations lie within. So an average is about 25 to 31% body fat for women, 18 to 24% for men. The other assessment we can look at is waist circumference. So this is how fat is distributed in the body. So those who store excess fat above the waist, sometimes they're referred to as that apple shape, are at higher risk of obesity-related conditions than people who store excess fat below the waist, or that's where they get identified as that pear shape. The recommendations are for men to keep waist circumference under 40 inches and for women to keep their waist circumference under 35 inches. This can also be a smart alternative for measuring weight to track weight loss progress. So sometimes we'll see changes in waist size even if the scale doesn't move. So if you're taking a new wellness approach and you're starting to track your progress, this can be a really great thing to track because it can help differentiate between losing fat versus gaining muscle. So really don't forget about those waist circumferences as well. All right, so we're at our first poll question. Which of the following can cause body weight to fluctuate? Is it A, dehydration, B, constipation, C, having a high salt meal, D, hormone changes, or E, all of the above? All right, I'm getting unanimous across the board, E. So yes, so it's really important to realize that body weight can fluctuate due to a variety of factors, such as the ones you see on the screen here. So other factors that may influence weight as well, genetics are included in there. Some genes can predispose you to a higher weight when combined with other behavior factors. The environment, do you have a grocery store nearby? Is there access to sidewalks? Is it safe to even be outside to try to get physical activity? Behaviors, this includes what we eat, how much we exercise, how we manage stress, and the quality of our sleep. So day-to-day water fluctuation can actually result from a vary in fluid intake. So sometimes dehydration may mean lower weight because weight may be increased if you drink a lot of water. Our salt intake. So salt holds on to water. If you have a salty dinner the night before, it could cause weight gain on the scale if you step on it first thing in the morning the next day. Constipation can influence our weight there. Or stored carbohydrates. The body stores extra carbs in the liver and muscles to use when energy stores are low. Carbs often hold on to water, which, as we mentioned before, can fluctuate our weight. Hormonal changes. If our body may hold on to more water in the days before women start their menstrual cycle, so sometimes that can be a fluctuation as well. There are also certain medical conditions that can influence our weight. An example of this is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Other factors include thyroid issues or certain drugs such as antidepressants or steroids. So finding measures other than weight can be helpful in measuring your progress towards your health goals. You could measure your progress by improved fitness, increased energy levels. However, if you do still want to weigh yourself, I recommend doing it weekly to kind of give you that better picture overall of your true weight. So if there's just one thing to take away from today, it's this. At the end of the day, weight is just one piece of the wellness puzzle. The National Wellness Institute focuses on 6 dimensions of wellness, which can be summarized here. So what we're taking a look at: physical, caring for the body through exercise, nutrition, stress relief, sleep, etc. Weight definitely fits in here. But also taking a look at your social wellness, contribution to your environment and community, really living in harmony. Emotional well-being, being aware of and anticipating your feelings, taking an optimistic approach to life. Intellectual, sharing gifts with others, challenging the mind with creative and stimulating activities. Spiritual wellness, finding the meaning and purpose of our existence, living life consistent to our values. And occupational, personal satisfaction and enrichment in life through your work. All of these areas are important to our overall wellness. Some of us may need to address a specific priority area first before we can make progress in other areas. Working with a health coach can help you figure out your keystone area or the area that you may want to work on first and get comfortable with before you move on to another one. So example, if we're going through a job change, this can affect many things, many categories, your occupational category as well as an emotional. It may be a hard time to start an exercise routine. So maybe at first you just start with getting your new job set up and getting comfortable there before moving on to the next area. So there are 4 habits for health and well-being. And I did have someone ask if they can have access to the slides. If you email me, I'll give you my email at the end. I can PDF the slides for you. So 4 healthy habits that can contribute to overall wellness that are linked to a healthier weight includes nutritious eating, regular exercise, stress management, and restful sleep. And someone also just asked about experiencing menopause and constantly struggling with water and weight gain, which is very common because we're going to see many factors come in there. These 4 habits are going to be the best things to focus on. I know that's a general answer, but really kind of focusing on creating these healthy habits can help regulate and try to keep that body in balance the best way possible. So before we chat further, I want to remind you that what I'm sharing here are only suggestions. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to wellness. So what works for someone else may not be right for you. Everyone has different needs and different preferences. So customize your plan to you. Your plan needs to be realistic and align with your values, which will help you stick with it over time. Talk to your doctor and learn what may be right as your first step. This could be weight loss, but for others, they may be focusing on another healthy habit. Maybe it's going to be focusing on sleep. So just realizing that everyone's going to be a little bit different in the way they approach wellness. But taking a look at nutritious eating. So there are some things to start with. What you see on this slide here is a picture of MyPlate. And MyPlate is our new, it replaced the food pyramid back in 2011. So what you'll see here, first off, it says make half your plates fruits and vegetables. So really starting with those plant-based sources. Your vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, these are going to contain fiber and they're rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Adding in protein and healthy fat. So trying to add that variety, mixing plant-based proteins, and then as well mixing in your healthy fats like your oils, avocados, and nuts. And don't forget to hydrate with water. So make water your preferred beverage, or try unsweetened beverages such as tea, coffee, even like fruit-infused water or seltzer water are great options as well to keep up with the appropriate hydration. So no, not all meals have to look exactly like this plate. Feel free to incorporate those mixed dishes. We're coming into the weather's getting colder. You can mix in stews, stir fries, things like that. Just keeping these ratios here and what makes up a well-balanced meal. Someone just shared, I lost a lot of weight when I stopped drinking so much. I used to have 2 or 3 glasses of wine a week. Now I have 1 drink a month. Absolutely. Those often we find drinking calories, not really getting many nutrients from it, and it's a really big way we lose track of some of those excess calories coming in. So thank you for sharing. When we're taking a look at Fueling Smart, kind of keeping that nutritious eating pattern in mind, it's important to know that fad diets are not the solution for improved health and well-being. Fad diets typically promise a dramatic short-term solution when we really should be focusing on a long-term lifestyle that we can maintain and enjoy over time. So some fads can even be dangerous for your health by cutting out certain nutrients that our bodies need to function. There's no quick fix for wellness or weight loss. Keep that in mind when developing a plan for action. Focus on lifestyle changes such as eating a variety of foods, helps you get that mix of nutrients that you need. Planning ahead can be a big tip. Planning healthy food choices before you're in the moment and hungry. Purchase ingredients that you know you'll need to make those healthy meals the week in advance. That way you have everything that you need. Really choosing nutrient-dense foods, such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts. They can help you feel full for longer and can give your body the right nutrients to keep your energy levels up. It's also important to honor your hunger and your fullness. So eating a healthy meal or snack when your body tells you it's hungry. If you ignore your true hunger cues, it can make it harder to make healthier choices later when you're overly hungry. And then limit added sugar. So focus on whole foods, which means you're not having that added sugar in there. Sugars may give you, especially added sugar, may give you energy right in that moment, but it often causes that crash soon after. They're processed at a faster rate, so when we choose more whole foods, they take longer to be processed and can keep us full for a longer period of time. All right, I'm getting a lot of questions here, so let me take a quick moment. Someone also said they lost weight just by making the simple switch of bringing their lunch in every day. That can definitely be a great place to start. I'm not saying, especially with meal planning, if you want to just choose maybe what meal is the trickiest for you, whether it's breakfast, whether it's lunch, it can be a great place to start. And someone asked, what are some healthy foods for breakfast besides your regular breakfast items? Once again, this is where I kind of say get funky, get creative, and think outside of the box. So it doesn't have to be what we typically think of breakfast foods. No, there's no rule saying what you would typically eat for lunch, you can't have it for breakfast if that's what often keeps you full for longer. Or maybe it's going to be taking some whole grain toast, a little bit of peanut butter, you can add some chia seeds or some almonds on top. You're getting a mix of protein, healthy fats, whole grains, and carbohydrates just by that little meal there. So really focusing on incorporating all those food groups there. Someone asked thoughts on intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting does have some strong research going for it. You just have to really make sure it's something that you can stick with long term and you're not just doing it for the short term. Once again, this is kind of thinking about a plan that's going to work for you in the long run. And also just making sure that you are still focusing on eating that variety of foods, because with intermittent fasting, there's no real guidelines on what food you eat. It focuses more on timing. So really just making sure you're keeping that balance in place and that it is something that you continue with long term. Raw sugar, better than refined sugar. At the end of the day, sugar is sugar, so you really just want to keep your overall intake within the acceptable ranges there. And really paying attention, added sugar should really be no more than about 10% of your total. Someone suggested kind of mixing up, adding some oatmeal in and then adding spices with it to add flavor, such as nutmeg and cinnamon. So that's great. Loving the interaction. Thanks for being so involved in the webinar. This is fantastic. All right, so other things when it comes to looking at nutrition, what we want to aim for, vitamins and minerals. Why it can play a big role if we get those vitamins and minerals. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to help give us our energy levels, and it can help increase fullness and satisfaction. So when we make those more nutritious choices, those are some of the boosts that we're going to see. Things that a more nutritious diet can reduce are risk for chronic disease, as well as depressive symptoms. So that can be many benefits there. And then someone asked, what about not eating after a certain time of night, like no meals after 10 p.m.? This is where I still go back to kind of creating that balance. Your digestive system does slow down when you go to sleep. So I wouldn't suggest having a big meal right before you go to bed because it's not going to be digested as well, and it could actually sit in your stomach for a longer period of time, which could actually end up impairing your sleep because it could cause a little bit of reflux or some stomach pain, and you could wake up in the middle of the night. All right, so our next poll question, what is the minimum amount of exercise that is recommended each week to maintain health? Is it 60, 100, 150, 200, or 300? So I'm getting I'm getting a variety of answers. I think I've gotten every single answer on here. So the correct answer here is actually C, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more, 150 minutes. So regular exercise is another aspect of well-being here. So our recommendations when looking at cardio or aerobic exercise, these are things that are really getting your heart pumping, causes you to get a little bit sweaty. 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity activity per week. So some examples, I always define moderate intensity is where you could still hold a conversation in that activity, but you may not be singing a song. Whereas vigorous activity, you're at a level where it's difficult to even talk, you're really just focusing on your breathing. So those are the two ways I like to define those categories there. But other examples of this could include running, walking, engaging in some type of HIIT exercise, biking, swimming, many different varieties there. The other part of our exercise recommendations do include strength and muscle building exercises. So it is recommended to do at least 2 full body strength training sessions per week. So this can include things like actual weight training, yoga, or even doing body weight exercises. Why this is so important, it does help decrease muscle loss as we lose weight or with age, and it can actually help with weight maintenance. Since muscle is more metabolically active, it helps us burn more calories and fat even when our body's at rest. So greater amounts of exercise overall can lead to greater health benefits. Swimming is going to be, you do get a little resistance from the water, but for the most part, it is put in that cardio activity category. But it all counts. So start small and work up over time. So everything that you do throughout the day counts. Small chunks of activity do add up throughout the day. So build up to the exercise recommendations over time as your fitness and your confidence increases. So even 1 to 2 days per week to start when you formerly weren't being active is progress in the right direction. You can also break up your times. So for example, 10-minute bouts a few times per day can add up to the 30-minute recommendation, and that's equally as effective. So if the idea of trying to aim for 150 minutes a week, you break it into 30 minutes 5 days a week. If 30 consecutive minutes at one time is not realistic for you at the moment, break it into those chunks, those little exercise snacks, with doing 10-minute bouts 3 times a day. That can help give you your 30 minutes. Also add in natural movement. If you don't have to be doing formal structured exercise to move more, things like walking the dog, adding in some stairs, or doing any type of yard work, that can count too. And I know we work most of the day during our week, but this also makes it a great place to try to include workday movement. So maybe try movement breaks to stretch your legs, get your blood flowing. You can take a short walk every hour or a longer walk break before lunch or late afternoon. Try adding a reminder on your calendar or utilize an app to schedule a reminder, which can help track it for you as well. So someone asked, how about taking the stairs? It's only a few minutes for a couple of floors. How would you count that? Count those few minutes. Maybe you do 5 minutes of steps 6 times a day. That can definitely be a way to count towards that 30 minutes or count towards your total 150 in the week. So it definitely all counts. So if that's the only type of movement you can maybe put in your workday, take a couple floors on the steps. It's better than nothing there. So what we're going to see by incorporating exercise, some boosts, we're going to see increase in mood or a boost in our mood. Endorphins, our feel-good hormones, are going to be released during exercise. This often makes us happier and more relaxed. Sleep, it can help our bodies fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. It's also going to have a positive effect on our muscle and bone strength. So it can maintain muscle mass and bone strength as you age, and it can help play a role with healthy weight. It helps with maintaining weight or actually facilitating weight loss. What we're going to see reduce with adding exercise, reduce risk for chronic disease such as heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. This can also play a role in reducing our blood sugar and blood pressure levels. And the risk of falls, it can actually help provide that strength overall, which can reduce the risk of falls, especially in older adults. Someone asked if people still count calories. Absolutely. It's a big part in maintaining a proper balance there. But once again, it kind of goes into taking that look at your overall wellness. If the idea of sitting down and counting calories is not the place you want to start, maybe we choose another aspect of that wellness. Someone's even given a testimony about yoga helping their balance, saying they nearly tripped the other day but straightened up automatically, attributing to your yoga practice. I don't doubt it. I absolutely believe adding flexibility and overall muscle strength can help our bodies bounce back from little trips like that. Another part of wellness goes into stress management. So stress can play a role in our weight and health by messing with our hormones and disrupting our healthy routines. A regular self-care and self-stress relief routine can help with keeping your stress levels in check and boosting your overall happiness. So think about a source of stress in your life. We all have some source. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed do you feel on a daily basis? And this is something you can think to yourself here. Recognize the stress in your life. You can't make changes to improve how you react to stress if you don't know what causes you stress. And then thinking about that scale, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you on that daily basis? How does it make you feel? And try to identify the triggers that are causing you stress. The next part into it goes with finding healthy ways to relieve stress. Avoiding negative coping mechanisms such as smoking, stress eating, or using any type of substance such as alcohol or drugs, and take control where you can. Avoiding stressful situations whenever possible. I know it's not always possible, but really trying whenever you can. So this maybe means saying no a little more often, or taking a break to clear your mind during that workday. Maybe that's the time you go take those quick 5 minutes on the steps. This could add some type of control back into some aspects of your life and can overall start improving those healthy habits. So managing stress, some other ways that we can help manage our stress. Finding support. So whether it's family, friends, or coworkers, having a good support system can help release emotions, share feelings, and express concerns with people who understand you and care about you. And this can really help boost your happiness. It can provide a different type of outlet. Prioritizing healthy habits, which are sometimes the first things to go when we are stressed. So this includes things like sleep, exercise, and nutrition. So as we mentioned, exercise releases those feel-good hormones, which can help boost your mood. Sleep is really important. It allows our body and brain to recharge. So it allows us to feel more energized and more rational and capable of handling stress during the day. Also, don't forget to make time for the things that you enjoy. Maybe it's hobbies, pastimes, whatever can help you relax by releasing those emotions that may have been causing you stress. So there are a variety of different ways, and this is where it is really different for everyone. But things like meditating, music, you could try one of those adult coloring books, reading, art, playing with kids, maybe going for a hike. You have to choose something that's enjoyable for you and that's personable, but this can really be a good outlet to help manage stress. Also, don't try reframing the situation. Remember that nothing lasts forever. Nothing good, nothing bad. Difficult times will pass. Understand that there are some situations you can't change, but taking action to lessen the stress. So maybe, for example, if you're stuck in a lot of traffic on your commute, right away it's an initial source of stress, but maybe listening to music or putting on a podcast that you like, you can reframe it and thinking, cool, now I have more time to listen to something that brings me joy. Taking a positive attitude towards challenges. Tell yourself that you can get through the situation. Think of the lessons that you're learning along the way, and if possible, try to find the positive in this situation. So maybe missing the bus means you get a little bit of extra exercise if you have to walk to work or walk to that next bus station. So what we're going to see by incorporating stress relief into our health and happiness, it's going to boost our immune system, so it could help us get sick less often, or if we do get sick, we're going to heal better faster. Once again, it plays a positive role in our sleep. We're going to be able to fall asleep faster. We can see improved mood, increased happiness, and it can also help us maintain a healthier weight. So the stress hormones often lead us to craving high-fat, high-sugary foods, and it can also make it harder to tell when we're hungry versus full. So the better we can manage our stress, the stress hormone typically being cortisol, which can also slow down our metabolism and promote fat storage. So the better managed we have on stress, it can reduce some of these symptoms that we get from those stress hormones. It can help reduce stomach upset. For some of us, that is a sign of stress there, resulting from that gut-brain connection. And it can help reduce muscle tension. Oftentimes when we're stressed, our body gets into that fight or flight mode, and it tenses up our muscles because we feel like we have to act at any given time. So oftentimes, especially in the back or the neck, that's where we'll feel some of that muscle tension build up. But the better we can manage our stress, the more reduced muscle tension we'll see. So moving into our aspect of sleep, which of the following is part of the definition of quality sleep? Is it A, sleeping for at least 85% of the time while in bed, falling asleep in 30 minutes or less, waking up less than one time per night, being awake for less than or equal to 20 minutes after initially falling asleep, or all of the above? And we're getting unanimous votes for E, which is correct. So all of these options here are what go into the true definition of quality sleep. So it is important to realize both quantity and quality of sleep matter. So in terms of quantity, the CDC does recommend adults get at least 7 or more hours of quality sleep daily. So as we mentioned, quality sleep defined as sleeping at least 85% of the time while you're lying down in bed. When you do lie down initially, you're falling asleep within the first 30 minutes and waking up no more than one time per night, and ideally being awake for less than 20 minutes after you initially fall asleep. So when we don't reach these needs, it's acquired as sleep debt. So while one night of poor sleep may be okay, continuously missing sleep racks up our sleep debt, and it can be really difficult to make it up. When we don't get enough sleep, it doesn't really allow our bodies to recharge, and it can actually increase our stress hormone levels. So ways we can improve sleep. Be mindful of things like alcohol, caffeine, or nicotine. So alcohol, while it initially may bring sleep on after a few hours, it does act as a stimulant, so you often wake up more often. Recommended to limit to 1 drink per day for women, no more than 2 drinks per day for men, and to avoid alcohol within 3 hours of bedtime. Caffeine, it's recommended to avoid any type of caffeine about 4 to 6 hours before bed. Caffeine can be found in coffee, tea, even things like chocolate or sodas, and some pain relievers. Nicotine is also a stimulant, which can keep you awake, so trying to keep it out of your system before bedtime. Other things we can try there, making your bedroom dark, quiet, and at a temperature that you prefer. So maybe using heavy curtains or blackout shades or an eye mask to block light coming from the outside. Lower outside noises, maybe it's wearing earplugs or using a white noise machine. There are some white noise apps out there as well. Or it could be as simple as running a fan. And keeping the temperature Recommended between 60 and 75 degrees, but that personal preference varies for everyone. And making sure you do have a comfortable mattress and pillows can definitely go a long way. Something to consider as well, if you have a pet that often wakes you up or makes noise, you may want to keep it out of the bedroom, or maybe keep it in a situation where it doesn't hop on the bed and wake you up. Someone even said these guidelines really work. I've been using it for about 4 months. Some of these tips and tricks, which is great. Create a bedtime routine. It's really important to realize that kids are not the only ones who need bedtime or a bedtime routine. So maybe try relaxing activities within the hour or so before bed, avoiding any type of stressful or stimulating activities such as work. You could try reading a book, meditating, using this time to journal, anything that's going to really help relax the mind. Also, do your best to keep a sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. This will help set your body's internal clock and start to give you those natural rest cues. So take this time for a minute. If you want to share, feel free to think about something that maybe you could incorporate to help initiate that initial bedtime routine, something you could do before bed that you think would help improve your sleep. Someone suggested no TV in the bedroom works for me. I think I need to track the hours that I sleep. It can actually really go a long way. And another thing with tracking is that maybe you can see if there are certain hours that make you feel more rested. So while yes, someone can sleep from 11 to 7, that's 8 hours of sleep, maybe they feel more tired as opposed to sleeping from 10 to 6. So when you track your sleep, you can see what times work a little bit better. Exercising during the day. Turning off the TV and reading a book. Really great suggestions here. So when we start to incorporate better sleep, some boosts that we're going to see are overall performance. It's going to improve our mental health, our thinking abilities, making decisions, reacting, and creating memories. So during our sleep, that's where our bodies take what we've experienced throughout the day and convert them into stored memories. So we're more likely going to be remembering things better, which can actually make us more productive for the next day. It can also help allow our muscles to relax and recharge, which can improve our physical performance. It can improve our mood. So if we're really tired, I know I do for sure, I get cranky. It can make you a little bit more irritable. So with better sleep, we may see improved mood. And recovery and repair. So hormones are released during sleep that help us build muscle mass, fight infections, and repair our cells. So it can keep us overall healthier. Reductions that we'll see with better sleep. Once again, that risk for chronic disease, such as heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes. Cravings for high-fat or sugary foods may also be reduced with enough sleep, because with the lack of sleep, it increases our cortisol, or that stress hormone, as well as ghrelin, which is a hormone that increases our appetite, and decrease leptin. So leptin is a hormone that actually helps keep us full. So not enough sleep is actually going to increase our appetite hormone and decrease our leptin, which is the hormone that makes us feel full. We'll also see less stress hormone when we get enough sleep there. How do you get good sleep when you wake up with hot flashes? So definitely this is where it does come about trying to figure out a temperature that works for you. There are like wicking pajamas or trying to sleep in that wicking material that can help pull moisture and evenly distribute it so that you're not feeling wetness or waking up due to all of a sudden the coldness that often comes with sweating in the middle of the night. So that could be something that you try as well. So just to review the 4 habits of health and well-being, and these can be really great places to start, such as nutritious eating, engaging in regular exercise, really focusing on stress management, and paying attention and trying to get some restful sleep. So then we are motivated, we find, all right, I want to make this healthy habit, but how do you maintain it long term? It can be difficult to change your habits to support a healthy weight. It takes time for new habits to become a part of your routine. So here are some things that you can try to help stick with it over time. Finding your motivation. So first and foremost, ask yourself, why do you want to change, and how will this change impact your life? Keep the things motivating you in the front of your mind as you work towards your goal. Prepare for roadblocks. I'm a huge proponent of this one. Really, I know we can't predict every barrier that will come our way, but if you can predict those potential barriers, then create that backup option that will allow you to stay on track. So for example, if you know you just have a busy day and you're not going to get to the gym after work, maybe you try to go before work. Or maybe it's going to be just trying to take those steps or fitting in that walk during your lunch break. Sometimes I often say, like always have a backup meal, something that you can go to. So if you are trying a new recipe and it just doesn't turn out well, you have that backup meal you can go to and kind of pull, maybe it's some leftovers. That way you end up not ordering takeout or something like that. And then getting rid of the Halloween candy is what someone just suggested. Absolutely. Tracking your progress. So it helps to see how far you've come and how consistent you've been over time. So now with tracking, as we mentioned, tracking habits or how you feel instead of your weight can actually be more motivating and more sustainable. So not just looking at that number on the scale, tracking your energy levels, tracking your waist circumference, or even just your overall improvement in fitness. Maybe you were able to add on an extra flight of stairs. That's improvement rather than what the scale is saying as well. And really trying to find that support system, trusted friends or family that can check in with you and help keep you accountable. They can also encourage you and support you through these tough times. So finding someone to help, or even if you want to find a partner, someone who's willing to help go make those changes with you, can actually help increase that accountability. Another big thing is to really make sure the goals that you're setting start small and realistic. Take it one step at a time. It's not sustainable to go from 0 to 100 overnight. So work up to the larger goals. And then check in and adjust as time goes on. Monitor your progress, but also really check in on whether your goals are still relevant or important. You have permission to change your goals at any time. So if you don't have time to cook some type of scramble in the morning or not make those overnight oats, maybe you could try doing a smoothie instead. So you're not stuck doing the same thing over and over. You have permission to change as needed. So we mentioned that tracking your progress can help stick to your habits. So some tracking ideas, and it's not the same for everyone, but maybe it's using a calendar, using apps like MyFitnessPal. You can try tracking things in a spreadsheet, a food journal, or any of those fitness trackers. Things to track. You could do food intake, minutes of exercise. You could track your hours of sleep, or even just tracking, did you engage in a daily stress relief activity? There are some resources for additional support as well. So health and wellness professionals can really help you start and maintain healthy habits that can support your wellness goals. So check with your insurance carrier to see if you have access to work with a registered dietitian. If you're looking for one in your area, you can log on to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics at www.eatright.org/find-an-expert. They'll show you registered dietitians within your area. So maybe you may be able to use insurance to work with a dietitian and start setting your goals. Also use Healthy at Hopkins. If you do have EHP insurance, you have access to telephonic health coaching, and they work with you not just on nutrition, but they're there to help you with exercise, even stress management. So there are different ways you can use the Healthy at Hopkins portal, have meal plans, nutritious recipes, things like that to get started. Or if you're focused on exercise, use a certified personal trainer. You want to make sure they do have those credentials, but it can help start exercise in a safe way and can help with that accountability. But as always, before starting anything, make sure you talk with your doctor to make sure that whatever routine you're working with is the right fit for you. And then always checking in with how you define progress. The path to improving your health is not always easy. It's not a straight path from point A to point B. Know that challenges are normal. They don't mean you failed. How you respond to those challenges goes a long way. So even if progress is slow, keeping that positive attitude and using some of those tips that we just talked about can help you stay consistent. Sometimes new habits change how you are on the inside more than how you are on the outside, and that's okay too. So progress doesn't just mean a change in that number on the scale. It could also mean better blood pressure, more energy, less stress, greater happiness. It can just, and it can mean staying consistent over time. So as you move forward, take those times, think about what progress means to you and how you define progress on your own wellness journey. So thank you for attending today. You guys have been excellent and amazing at being very interactive. If you do have any questions, I'm going to stay on for a few minutes, and I'll hope to answer any of your questions. If you don't, feel free to exit the webinar. And this is our last webinar of the year, but pay attention to 2020 as we come up with our new set.